Hi, welcome back to day 2 of which can be a very long saga of me painting the house. And so last night I took out, this was already sanded. I got that painted and got busy with work last year and just never got to it. But anyways, I reopened the grain there, so I knocked off the glaze from it being bleached by the sun. The weathering of the wood. I gotta figure out the correct word. Anyways, the weathering of the wood, we'll just call it that. I was working in the dark last night because I had to go buy a sander, so I'm gonna have to get in there with the scraper in those low spots there. But what I'm gonna work on today is, I did the diamond brush, which is a set of blades that are diamond crusted. I hit this last year, but I never chased it with the flapper disc, so I'm going to get in there today and start working on that, because the 40 grade sandpaper is doing absolutely nothing to it. So that's my plan for today. I'm not in love with the way I dropped this out. I'm going to try to I got a gap there. I just despise landscaping against a house because of my career as a painter, restorationist, whatever you want to call it. So anyways, I'm going to attack this today and then chase it with the orbital. So you're going to see me fighting with the flapper. Just remembering I got to get a 5-gallon bucket and a pail hook to keep my consumables, sanding discs inside there, and I keep it up on a ladder with me. So let me grab that and I'll be right back. Thanks. All right, so here's the setup I'm using. I don't think there's supposed to be a guard on it. You can't use, I don't want to say you can't use the guard, but I choose not to. I just wear PPE. So this is kind of a lightweight grinder from one of the Harbor Freight brands. And then where's my the Dyma brush setup, I have the Hercules brand from them, which is a lot more powerful. And I forgot to mention, you have to use a vacuum with it, so I'm not going to get into that today. But these wheels spin. I'm missing a blade. I forgot about that, so I'll have to change this off. And this is extremely, you can't really run, you can, but not for long periods. You could run it with a missing blade, but it rears its head and it puts it out of balance, and it just doesn't work. So especially if you have something you care about. So I'm gonna have to change the blade on this, but again, I'm not gonna use it today. But this draws enough power that I'd have to run a second line, and I just don't feel like doing that. But this is what you have to use over when you have no paint failure whatsoever. It's a real pill. Like, absolutely hate doing it. Like, I can't even begin to tell you. But I will be doing plenty of it. All that over there is going to require that, and probably up into the gable end. I do have, I forgot to grab it off my bumper. I grabbed it out of my car when I was walking my dogs. It's the paint remover is the specific name, from Red Devil, which is, they're still around, but I guarantee you they're not making this thing. And if I ran that company, I would dismiss manufacturing this out of hand for the liability issues of people doing dumb stuff. So doesn't mean it wasn't a good product. I may bust that out today if this fights me to do small stuff. In fact, I think there's pretty high likelihood you're going to get to see that in this video. So I'll be back. Let me get this stuff closed up so it doesn't get debris in it, because I'm going to be creating a mess. All right, off we go. Okay, so I'm up on the ladder just a little bit here, and I'm going to take the flapper disc that I just put on my small angle grinder, and I'm going to attack this. I need both hands, so I can't do this with the I'm going to have to use the time lapse. So we'll be back. Same spot, it knocks it down, and I'm going to just sort of spot buzz, if that's a term, this stuff here just to knock it down. And then the expectation is I'm going to chase it with the orbital and the 40 grit. But these are excellent results so far. I can live with this all day long. I cannot emphasize enough how dangerous it is to do it this way. And don't emulate what I do on a ladder. I choose to do what I do. I don't endorse it. This thing has a lot of angular inertia, and I should probably be wearing rawhide gloves. I don't know where mine are. I think they're with my welding kit that I have to assemble. I should be wearing them. I actually cut myself using this. When you hold it this way, it tends to want to stay still. When you hold it this way, it wants to go all over the place. It's very dangerous. I'm going to use it to knock this mill glaze down and then chase it, in addition to doing what I'm doing here. I'm having good results, but I'm going to attack this and then go back and then take the weathering off. It's starting to load up. It's working great, but it's a very expensive way to do it. Alright, so these flapper discs, this one is ready for a change. It has 2 lives when you're doing this. The first life is just knocking this stuff off, and when it starts to load up, then start attacking the mill glaze, because it's still effective at that. And when it stops to be effective at that, then change the disc. The goal is to stretch your consumables as long as you can. Consumables being, in this case, sandpaper, scraper blades, flapper discs, sanding discs. In welding, it would be sanding discs, welding rods, that kind of thing, gas. So it's just kind of a catch-all term. Also brushes, roller covers for this. So, if you're smart about how you do it, you're still going to spend a lot of money on this stuff. I can't help you with that. But, and somebody said, well, why don't you use like a 3.5, 4 inch metal electric planer? Well, the blade will turn into shrapnel as soon as it hits something. Don't do it. It's a cute idea, but unless you're taking these things off the house and doing it inside, and even then I would recommend against it, because you don't know. I'm pulling staples, nails, because this had aluminum siding on it, that's a siding nail. Then I have cut nails, which are actually holding the siding to the house, the wood siding. So you're just asking for trouble. Don't do it. Now, one thing I want to add about these sanding discs. You almost want to cut in and hit the bottoms of the boards. You might score the face of the siding a little bit, but then when you come back down and chase it, you'll kind of knock that groove out. And you still got to hit it with the orbital. This is a ton of work. There's no shortcuts. I'm painting the house with satin. It'll shed the water a little bit better than flat will. That's a personal preference. Some people might just prefer to use flat, whatever. But the higher the sheet is, the more it shows the SIDS. So I have to get that out, or it might go through the primer and into the finish coat. Then when I have the house painted, you'll see the mill glaze. I don't want that. That's for the flapper disc, not from a sawmill. So the old siding, the old clapboard on this house was actually probably hand planed. With Stanley planes, or the wooden ones, actually. Probably the wooden ones in reality. Pretty cool. Looks terrible, but underneath you have a real treat. Alright, I'll be back. Safety. When you especially when you're up on the ladder, it's an extra step. Unplug the grinder. In case you, God forbid, hit the switch. You could really ruin your life. If you look at me, I'm covered in sawdust and paint film, and I wanted to take a break and get a sip of water and check the time. So I'm gonna drop the ladder down. Actually, I already did that, excuse me. I'm gonna try to take this stuff out of the job, and then I'm gonna go back uphill, and then my goal is to get all that sanded before I quit. I don't know if I'll have enough time or not, because I have to go out later. but I can live with the progress I'm having. But the party's over when I start getting up there. I'm gonna have to make a decision. I would dare say that third board up, maybe the fourth board for sure. Even the flapper disc, I'm gonna burn a disc per every 6 feet. That's very inefficient. So then I'm gonna have to transition over to the Dyma brush or the paint shaver, or actually the heat. You know what I'm gonna do, actually, just as a an experiment? I'm actually gonna switch over to that antique paint remover tool right now, and just to see, does it have enough power to have me make progress quickly? Because if it is, that might actually be my tool of choice over the violent ones. We'll see. So I took some of the job out with that electric paint iron, scraping it. I mean, you know, and then it bubbled the paint just like a torch. It just doesn't have as much horsepower, so to speak, but it's far more forgiving. You have to be careful with the cord wrapping around stuff like anything else, but I'm gonna hurry up and buy more of these before I release the video, so I'm not competing with you viewers, because it's an excellent product under the right circumstances. So I'm gonna go uphill and take this out, and then I'll come behind with all the flapper wheels. But it works so well, I wonder if maybe I can get away without using the paint shaver. Probably not, but it's worth a try. And there's a lot less prep to go behind it. So even if you're going slower, the sanding after the fact is going to be a lot less involved, because I could skip the flapper wheel scenario for the most part. So I really have to investigate this. But yeah, we may have had a breakthrough.
This is working really well. I'm going to try to bring you in for the process. So you hold it over the surface here. It'll start to smoke a little bit. There you go. And then Storm Scrapers, made in Philadelphia, USA. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. They've been in business since the 1850s, I believe. I'm not a paid endorser. I just believe in their products. The cinematography is lacking. You get the idea. I'm very happy. Okay, so since I'm so happy with the heating iron, the paint iron, I'm going to switch over to just try to use the orbital sander. I'm going to see if I can get away for the most part of skipping the flapper wheel. So I'm going to use this bad boy hooked up to the vacuum. And if that works, I think I might switch to that system going forward and try very hard to avoid the paint shaver and the Dyma brushes. That doesn't mean they're bad. They're actually safer, because neither are going to catch anything on fire, and they're readily available. But I'm old, and I have to be able to get up for work, and they make you want to sleep because your body's just trying to recover. The painting shouldn't be a contact sport. I'm pretty happy about what I got done today, but I had plans later in the day. So any place where there's weathering from me not having got this sanded primed last year, I'm being punished, and the no bad deed goes unpunished, right? So that is going to require the flapper no matter what. It's just not cutting through it with the 60 grit because it's basically cupped on a very small level, and the grit just skips over it. So that's okay because there's not that much that is like that. Once I get this done and that done, I have a chance of being able to use the paint iron and then go straight to sandpaper. I still think they'll probably need the intermediary step of the flapper wheel, but I don't think it'll be as bad. So I'm pretty happy. But you know, it's not even a big house, but it's got a lot of surface area relative to its square footage on the inside for floors. So it's gonna take me a while. I won't get this done this calendar year. It's the fall right now, and you know, if my work gets busy, I am gonna have to put it down, but I'll make a point to get finish coat on anything I put down. I don't want to have this problem again. I kind of knew this would happen, but I just didn't realize how bad it would be. All right, thank you.